So Diddy is trying to collect certain fluids from men for many specific reasons. It's been listed now multiple times, and I think that we need to have this conversation. Hey guys, it's Moral Morali, daily and consistent content. Let's get straight into this video. Now, amongst reviewing so many of Diddy lawsuits, there seems to be similar behaviors, characters, certain actions that have been quite consistent to the point where I think it is worrying. Of course, everything that Diddy has done is to be very worrying, but certain stuff, extreme lengths that this man has reached, I do wonder why. In the recent lawsuit with Ashley Parham, it is mentioned, and I'm going to show you the screenshot where he says, where the lawsuit says, 255 is the point. In an effort to get DNA from plaintiff John Doe to place on plaintiff's Parham, defendant Diddy had one of the defendant co-conspirators orally copulate plaintiff John Doe to get semen from him, but it failed. IV fluids, STD testing, HIV testing, all of this, is very intriguing to say the least, because we are discussing biological related consequences to the human body after what Diddy has done. And I don't think that we are discussing the biological consequences as much, especially PTSD, which I think that is probably the only thing that we have discussed, but there are a plethora of other biological consequences. And I think that Diddy has a specific incentive when it comes to men, and that is to collect the men's fluids for an agenda, for a motive. Because if we look back at one of the recent lawsuits that was from a couple of weeks ago, when a male escort came out, he stated that when he was hired by Diddy, of course, baby oil and lubricant seems to be one of the most reoccurring factors, and he lost, movements, but Diddy instructed this man that he must ejaculate onto another person so that Diddy could eat the fluids, Diddy could eat the semen. And I think there are other specific agendas for why Diddy is wanting to do this. For example, in this lawsuit, there is that reoccurrence where he is trying to extract the semen, the fluids from the man, so that he could try and place that upon somebody else, so that criminally or civilly he won't be indicted. It won't be on him, it will be on somebody else. You can easily blame the other person because his fluids are on that other person. And of course, Diddy instructing people and defendants to orally copulate, to orally extract, this is what you must do, goes to show you how deep, dark and sick and twisted that this man is. Why were you continuously now in multiple lawsuits from men, or lawsuits about men, where you are trying to collect their fluids to either ingest or to use upon somebody else? It just goes to show you how dark and twisted that this man is. This is something that he just keeps on doing. This is why I wouldn't put it past if he had STDs. This is why I wouldn't put past if he had any irreversible STDs from the amount of madness that he is doing. It just goes to show you the lengths that this man would go. So when there are conversations about did he kill this person, when it comes to the pneumonia allegations, I wouldn't put it past him, because he's so far thought that he thinks about collecting the fluids of men so that he could actually use it, ingest it, or put it upon somebody else to put the blame on them. I wouldn't be surprised if this man was rubbing the fluids on his face, talking about wrinkle, anti-aging cream. I wouldn't be surprised if he were doing something like that. Because why does it turn you on to do something against somebody's will, and that specifically is to orally copulate a man, collect their fluids, and either use it, put it on you, eat it, or I really want to know, where did you get this from? There's one thing discussing Diddy's and fine lining the biological stuff that he's doing or trying to do to certain men that now seems to be a pattern. But there's another thing when it comes to, where did you get this idea from? Because I know, God forbid, somebody is telling you to eat their fluids. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Clive Davis. I wouldn't be surprised if it was another higher up executive, and it was some kind of exchanging or passing of fluids, or exchanging of some kind of ritual, or this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get to that level of what is the common occurrence for this. Why would you hire a random male escort and say, you need to do this to somebody else so I can eat it off them? And they were visibly uncomfortable, but you did not care. There's one thing when you do something consensual, but this obviously is very much against somebody's will and uncomfortable, and that very much is to orally copulate someone, remove their fluids. And in the second instance, it failed. But can you imagine how that looked like if you were there, seeing that Diddy asked another person to remove that man's fluids and it failed, and how they even tried to do that? Like we're in some sex dungeon or something like that. This is what this is giving. I don't know where Diddy has got this fetish from or this development from, and I want to know where that is from. And that probably is because he was told to do it himself, or he was instructed, you know, in some form of degrading, humiliation, you know, hazing technique. And I think that he's learned that from somebody, and therefore he continues it himself. This is just what I wanted to add to this conversation. That's basically what I wanted to open up this with. Now, Kanye West has announced that he is going to return to his Sunday service. Don't nobody want to care about your Sunday service. Just because his, you know, horrific discrimination did not work. The fact that he was wearing certain slogans on his body, and the fact that he was berating Cassie, and the fact that he was continuously praising certain oppressive leaders, nobody was buying any of that. Do you understand? Like, no matter how many shirts or t-shirts he sold, people were distancing away from him, much like his manager and his team. Now he wants to do a U-turn on his image, return to the Sunday service, and then when everybody believes again that he's getting closer to religion or closer to a better image, he's going to do another U-turn. All this man does is just sit on a merry-go-round, and he is just going round and round and round. He does a 180 every 6 months, and everybody buys into the shock factor, and that's what he now lives off. He doesn't live off his talent, which is a shame because he's so talented, but he lives off shock factors and doing dumb stuff. I don't have any respect for this man. I don't give a damn if he's mentally ill. I had to have no respect for this man after the fact that he's also accused in many lawsuits of SA. The way he degraded Cassie was absolutely disgusting. Siding with Diddy, supporting his freedom after all the lawsuits against him. One thing about these billionaires, they're going to stick together. Corrupt individuals, guys. Very much corrupt. Amber Rose was speaking in an interview discussing how she never really saw anything, and that, you know, at the Diddy party, she was at all of them. Don't nobody want to hear from you either. Do you understand? I think it's absolutely pointless and dumb and stupid for you to come here and say, oh, I was at all the Diddy parties, there were no freak-offs, I didn't see anything. The invitation just didn't come to you. Because if you were at these parties in plethora of photos with Cassie, and yet you know that Cassie has come out with a lawsuit alleging significant SA and freak-offs and IV fluids and all horrific stuff that she's gone through, don't you think it's stupid, dumb, and disrespectful towards her, the person that you are friends with, or the person that you are all at these parties with, to say that you never saw anything when you knowingly know that Cassie's come out with all of these shocking allegations outside of anybody else? It couldn't be me. It could not be me. This man is facing a plethora of civil lawsuits, a criminal indictment, and a shocking case from Cassie, and yet you dumb enough to come here publicly and say that you never saw anything, like anybody was even asking you. Nobody was asking you. If you didn't see anything, you didn't see anything. But clearly, all of these people are not lying against Diddy. Don't nobody want to hear from somebody, you know, doing the Diddy PR work for him. I'm so sorry. The door is closed and locked, and it will not be opened. I'm so sorry. And let me know what thoughts are, guys, when it comes to this video. Do subscribe to the channel, comment down below, give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Do send a tip. There's a $ there. You can send whatever you want, and it goes a long way. I would really appreciate it. Click that button and subscribe if you have not. It's just one click. That's all you guys have to do. And I'll catch you guys soon for another video.